What's going on, everybody? And welcome to J Sports Seattle. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Seahawks. I hope you guys had a good bye week. I'm sure these guys did. But yeah, I'm going to preview this game against the Commanders tomorrow, which I will be live streaming. So be sure to tune in for that. So if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. All right, so yeah, like I said, we just came off our bye week. We got a little bit healthier. We're looking good, and it's back to business. Back to away on the road, which we are undefeated so far this season. Hopefully, we can keep it that way. We're going up against a team that's been struggling to find its footing compared to last year so far, 3-5. Now, don't let the record fool you. These guys have been injured. Jaden Daniels has missed a few weeks with a hamstring injury, I believe. But he's back now, and he will be starting this game. But I'll get into the injuries later, but I'm going to talk about the matchup itself for right now. So, Jaden Daniels had a spectacular year last year. And so far, he's having a pretty decent year himself. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, over 1,000 passing yards. He's not having the year that Darnold's having right now, but he is doing pretty well for himself. So this is one guy you just can't underestimate. Their run game is okay. It's not the best, but they can run the ball if they need to. 402 yards is something. Is less than us, and we're pretty bad this year. So I don't know about that actually. But just comparing this, we have a better passing attack, and we have a pretty much the same rushing attack. Although, yeah, our passing attack just clears the Commanders on this one. Bobby Wagner, man, 83 freaking tackles, and it's week. It's not even double-digit weeks, and he has nearly 100 tackles already. Ernest Jones has 59. I miss this man. I really do. I really miss this guy. And I really wish we could have, had him end his career in Seattle, but I think it's been pretty clear that I don't think Bobby just has it like he used to. But that doesn't mean he's not a bad player. He just doesn't have it like he used to, and he also probably wasn't a good fit for Mike McDonald. So obviously we didn't re-sign him when he was a free agent. So clearly we had our eyes set on Ernest Jones and Tyrese Knight, who we seem to demote to. We've demoted him for Drake Thomas, who's also been a star recently. But like the thing about Bobby Wagner is he's not facing Russell Wilson anymore. So this is a completely different Seahawks team that he's facing for the most part. In terms of offense, Cooper Kupp. I mean, obviously he's played with Cooper Kupp on the Rams, and he's played against him when he was on the Seahawks against the Rams. But Jackson, he's never faced Jackson Smith and Jigba, and obviously he's not going to be guarding JSN unless it's like a mismatch. But like he hasn't seen a Sam Darnold-led Seahawks, which is my point. So this will be interesting to see for their defense, who has struggled in the air. They have a very shaky secondary, as said here by ESPN. Their corner situation isn't looking too hot, and yeah, like I said, their secondary is just a mess right now. So they allow one of the worst amount of yards in the league. Excuse me, passing yards in the league, that is. And it's just not looking good for them. Their passer rating allowed is abysmal. I think it's well over 100. So it's not good, and that is something that we can use to our advantage because we have good wide receivers. Well, right now we have a good receiver in JSN. Cooper Kupp's got to step up, and excuse me. Cooper Kupp's got to step up, and I hope to see more from Horton. I really do. He hasn't caught a pass he hasn't caught a pretty meaningful pass in 2 weeks. So I want to see him get involved in the passing game more. Although that's assuming Cooper Kupp plays, because I know he's questionable. So, but we got to get our tight ends involved more. We got to get Barner involved more again. Try to get Arroyo involved more because he's a second-round pick. So I want to see him get involved in the game more. Potentially use our fullback, get our running backs involved. We got to continue to run the football, even if it's not working. We got to hope one of these weeks we figure it out. And we have the 6th most rushing attempts in the league I saw, but we have like the 21st. We're like 21st in rushing yards. Not good, but it shows that we're committing to running the ball. So I want us to keep doing that because eventually, I feel like eventually it's gonna figure itself out. I also saw some rumors and some musings online about people saying that we might be looking for a guard on the trade market, this upcoming trade. There's always the question of which should you bolster a giant or should you help a weakness, with the giant being our defense. And you always want to get your weaknesses squared away, at least until for the rest of the year. Because if you're trying to contend, you got to fill weaknesses. Even if it's a marginal increase is better than no increase. So I hope we do trade for somebody. Hopefully somebody's available for us. I don't know who would be on the market. But, I will stay tuned and see what happens because trades have been going on these past few days between a lot of different teams. So, not too many big trades, but they have been trades. So I feel like there will be some crazy trade that'll happen. I don't think we'll be the one that does it, but you never know. It's the NFL. So, but we'll see what happens. But going back to this game, you got to attack the secondary. This is one game where you can kind of rely a little bit less on the run because of attacking a weakness. So you can attack a weakness. But I mean, if you can still run the ball, great. But like definitely focus on that weak secondary. Defensively, Jaden Daniels is very shifty. You saw him last year when he had a good pocket. Even when the pocket was starting to break down, he could use his legs, and that's what he was known for in college. So you have to set edges and to make sure he does not get away. And obviously secondary's got to do its job out there. Mike's got to do his job with the play calling, which I'm sure he will. But we have to get pressure. We had a lot of success against the Jags and the Texans when we put a lot of pressure on both of those quarterbacks. Even though we didn't force a turnover against the Jags, it was pressure, and it forced Lawrence to make errant throws and off-target throws, and it kind of messed with his head a bit because even when he did have a clean pocket, he would overthrow his receivers. So same thing with Stroud. Like we forced him to throw an interception. We sacked him multiple times, like 6 times. So we pressured him like half of. I mean, granted they have a bad O-line, but we pressured him half of their passing snaps or nearly half of the passing snaps. We got to carry that into this week. And I believe the Commanders have a pretty decent O-line, unless that's just Jaden Daniels doing his job in the backfield at extending plays. But they have done it okay. I think they're a little bit worse than they were last year, but they can protect him. So we still have to get pressure, and Mike's got to, dial up some, some things for coverage checks or, sometimes maybe blitz more, fake blitzes, and Mike knows what he's doing. I don't have to tell him what to do. So, but right now we're 5-2. Right, the last time we were 5-2, it was in 2023, and we were facing, you guessed it, none other than the Baltimore Ravens with Mike Macdonald as their defensive coordinator, who had the number 1 defense that year. So, or at least top 3 defense. I think the Niners might have been number 1, but I think the Ravens was definitely top 3. Top 2, I think, honestly. And what happened? We had Geno Smith, and we got blown the crap out. Oh my goodness! On their home, obviously it was in Baltimore, but 37-3, and that was the moment when I think the Pete Carroll era was going to start coming to an end. That's when I think when everyone knew that it was time for Pete to go, because he was just outmatched. He was outclassed and outmatched, and that was when John Schneider was like, "Yo, this guy needs to be our head coach," and here we are. He's our head coach, and we were 5-2 and have a good chance of going 6-2 for I believe the first time since 2020. So this is huge, and this is a huge game for this team. So, but the thing is this is a huge game for the Commanders as well because they have their backs against the walls. If they lose this game, they drop to 3-6, and their playoff hopes are pretty much dashed at that point because the NFC is a gauntlet this year, and you have to win every game, especially against NFC opponents. And if they lose that game, they're kind of cooked. So, sorry if you heard that. So it's a win-win I feel like it's a win-win for both teams because it's a win-win for us because this is a chance for us to really separate ourselves from these past few years. We went 5-2 in 2023, and then went 5-3, and then at one point we were 6-7, and then and then in 2024 we had that losing skid last year. Like we had that losing skid in the middle part of the season. We have to win the middle part of the season. That's what makes playoff teams, and that's what makes championship level teams. Is win at all parts of the seasons, and we have to win this middle part coming up. So, huge game for both teams, and yeah, I mean it'll be a good game. It will not be a blowout by any means. I feel like definitely be a close game, probably like a 20, 27, 21 type ordeal. I feel like maybe less. I feel like our defense will hold up, so maybe like a 24-17 ordeal. So, which is great. That's what we want to see. But yeah, that's what like summing it up. Like you gotta attack their defense, attack their secondary since it's weak. If you can get the run game going, great. But I feel like you should put the ball in Darnold's hands because he's been dealing this year. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's been playing like a top 10 quarterback, and I feel like he's going to continue to. So. Just keep, JSN is wide open every single time. He's unguardable. So if he's open, obviously throw it to him. And I hope he doesn't start forcing passes because he did force a pass to. I remember he forced a pass against the Texans and deep in our territory that that can be dangerous in later game and in more dire situations if the defense wasn't holding up like that. So yeah, pretty much. That's it. Defense gotta get pressure on Jaden Daniels, and that's it. Do good coverage in secondary, and that's it pretty much. But I'm gonna go on to injuries real quick. For the Seahawks, Jake Bull was out with an Achilles injury. Not good. So he hasn't been relevant in the passing attack really. Hasn't really been there, but he's a good blocker. So he's kind of like an extra tight end out there, even though he's not a tight end. It's kind of like a sneaky thing, even though he's a wide receiver. And then Darnold, he had a chest injury. I think that was when he got slammed to the ground by Shire. But he was a full participant in every single practice, so he's good to go. Derek Hall's good to go with that oblique injury he had. So that's good to hear. We got some edge depth, and he's one of our premier guys right now. So Cooper Kupp, he's questionable with a heel and a hamstring injury. This is really his first kind of injury thing this year. I don't know how he got injured, especially since we had a bye week. But I don't know, so I can't really say. But DeMarcus Lawrence, he's good to go. Julian Love. Unfortunately, he was placed on IR. He re-aggravated the hamstring injury that he suffered against the Cardinals game. So he's going to be out until at least, it's week 9. He's going to be out until at least week 13. So, or week 14, at least week 13. So not good, but if he can be healthy for the rest of the season as we push for the playoffs, if we are making a playoff push, that's fine, but not good so far. Oots is back though. That's a great thing. He was activated off the IR today, and or yesterday, or I don't know when he was, but he was activated off the IR recently, and but he's back because we need him in that run game because he's really good at run blocking. So at that fullback position, Jaron Reed's questionable. Don't like that. I'm sure he'll play because he was a full participant. And it's a wrist injury, so I'm sure he'll play. Eric Saubert was also placed on IR. He's a good blocker. He's not really doesn't really do much in the passing game and the receiving game, but he's a good blocker, but he's out, which sucks. We do have Barner and we do have Arroyo, and we do have Russell, I believe. And then Leonard Williams is playing. Devin Witherspoon, he's finally back, which is great. We got one of our key secondary pieces back, which is great to see. And another thing is Derek Young is out. I don't know if he was also placed on IR, but he is out. So. Not ideal. Christian Haynes is also out, but because he was off. He was full participant, but he's probably just going to miss this week and then probably play next week as depth behind Bradford. Because he also, he got beaten out by Bradford, and that means he's not good. We'll see, but he's just not good. We spent a 3rd round pick on him, and he just hasn't lived up to the billing. So, but overall, we're okay, and I think we'll manage. So. Hopefully we can be a little bit more healthier, as the next few weeks happen. But for the Commanders, they're missing a very key person as well on their offense. Terry McLaurin, he is out with a quad injury. They're also missing a tight end, Colson Yankoff. Sorry. I don't want to make fun of the dude's name. It's just you know how it sounds. But anyway, he's out, and John Bates, Jershawn Newton, and Laramie Tunsil all questionable. And even if they do play, that means they could be limited, and they could be playing through injury. So both teams are missing a key player, and we're missing Julian Love, and they're missing Terry McLaurin. So we'll see what happens, because we could also miss Cooper Kupp if he's not good to go. So hopefully he's good to go. But yeah, I think that's all I have for this video. And like I said, I will be doing the live stream tomorrow. I know daylight savings time is tomorrow, or that ends tomorrow. So the games will be 6:20 my time, 5:20 your guys' time. So I'll be doing a live stream. I'll be starting a live stream around 5 p.m. Arizona time, or Mountain Standard Time, and it'll be 4 p.m. for Pacific Standard Time. So maybe a little bit later, between 4 and 4:30 is when I'll start the live stream. So Pacific Standard Time, and then 5 and 5:30 for Arizona time / Mountain Time. So stay tuned for that. Sorry, I'm like getting too technical, but make sure to stay tuned for that. I'll be having a watch along on. I'll be live streaming on my laptop while I watch the game on my TV. So yeah, tune in for that, and hopefully we can watch a dub together. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night, and go Hawks, go Mariners, and go Kraken.